In Unit 18, Part 2, we're going to talk about percents and proportions. So proportions are something that we covered a couple units ago. Now we're going to find them with percents. So if you look at the top, it says solving percent problems. This is straight out of your textbook. When we're using proportion, or when we're solving any kind of percent problem, there's three different things we could be finding. We could be finding the percent, we could be finding the part, or the base. And this shows you how that matches up into proportion. So when we have a proportion, we're always going to do the part over the base equals the percent over 100. Because a percent is always something over 100. When we do the part over the base, there's some keywords that will help us. So for part, the keyword is. For base, the keyword is of. And then we have our percent over 100. So is and of are kind of your giveaway words when you do it. So if you look at the first one in this table, it says finding a percent. The question is what percent of 48 is 12? So of goes on the bottom, so that's why 48 is down here. Is goes to the top, which is why 12 is there. And you're looking for the percent over 100. For the next one, you're finding a part, which is the top of the first one. It says what number is. So that's why we have our variable there. We don't know what we're looking for. 15% goes up top, 80 then goes on the bottom because it's got the word of. The last one is finding a base. It says 20 is, so that's on top, 30% is on top of the other side. And it says of what number. We don't know what number, so it goes on the bottom as a variable. So let's look at some examples of this. So the first thing we're going to do is find the percent. It says use a proportion to answer the question. You have to use a proportion. If it tells you to use a proportion, you have to use it. So it says what percent of 45 is 9? So again, we're going to have a proportion. And we know the bottom right is going to be 100. The top right is going to be our percent. Top left is. Bottom left is of. So it says what percent. That's what we're looking for. So you put an X there. We don't know what our answer is. It says of 45. Of goes on the bottom, so 45 is on the bottom. Then is 9. So 9 is going to be on top. So, again, I just put those to help you. You obviously need those there. So here's our proportion. 9 over 45 equals x over 100. So now we need to solve for x. So we can cross multiply and divide. So we get 45x equals 900. So multiplying, cross multiplying. And then I can divide both sides by 45. And I'll get x equals 20. Now the question was what percent, so we can add a percent sign on. So 9 is 20% of 45. Alright, I'll leave number 2 for you on all these. I'm going to do the first one and have you do the second one. The next one says finding a part of a base. So it says use a proportion to answer the question. What number is 20% of 16? So again, we know we're going to have a proportion here. Percent's going to be in the top right. 100 is going to be the bottom right. Is top left, of is bottom left. So it says what number is. So we're looking for the top left. So that's x. 20%, so 20 goes there. Of 15. So 15 is on the bottom. Notice, okay, again, these were just to remind you, when I actually when I take 20% and put it into the proportion, the percent sign is gone. It's 20 over 100 is the same thing as 20%. So now I can cross multiply and divide. I'll get 100x equals 300. Then I can divide both sides by 100. I'll get x equals 3. So 3 is 20% of 15. Alright, number 2 I'll leave for you guys. Going down to the bottom, it says use a proportion to answer the question. We're finding a base now. So again, I'll start with the proportion. It says 14 is. Is goes on the top left. Then we have 20%, so that's 20. And it says of what number. So that's what we're looking for, is the bottom left. Then we know the bottom right is going to be. I cross multiply, I get 20x equals 1400. Divide both sides by 20. I get x equals So 14 is 20% plus 7. Number 2, I'll leave to you guys. Right, on the back side, we've got some word problems. We're going to use proportions to solve these. It says there are 285 people who attend the fitness center. A yoga class contains 60% of the people who attend the fitness center. How many people are in the yoga class? Right, so we need to set up our proportion. Okay, and let's use what we have. We have 60%, so that means this is going to be 60 over 100. It says there are 285 people who attend a fitness center. 60% are in the yoga class. Okay. So 285 is the total who attend the fitness center. So that's going to go on the bottom. Okay, that's the thing. How many people is the part, so that's going to go on the top. So now I can cross multiply. I'll get 100x equals 17,100. Then I can divide both sides by 100. I'll get x equals 170. So 171 people attend that class. Number 2, I'll leave to you guys. If you scroll down to the bottom, there's some challenge problems, and there's also some review problems. So I'll do one challenge problem for you and then have you try the other one. So these challenge problems are still percents. We're still using proportions. Okay? It says what number is 15% of y? So we have a proportion. 15%. We know it's going to be 15 over 100 then. It says what number is. So we're looking for the top of y. So it's saying the bottom. Okay. So we're going to cross multiply, and we'll get 100x equals 15y. So there's a couple things we can do. We could solve for x, just to give us an idea of what the top is. Or we could solve for y, and know y. Okay, it says use a proportion to answer the question in terms of y though. So that means we want to get y by itself. So y is going to equal 100x over 15. And if we want, we can reduce that and divide top and bottom by 5, which is 20x over 15. So that's what y. Alright, I'll let you guys try number 2, and then there's some review problems for you to do on the bottom.